Okay, just getting a little head start here. I wish I could see, so I'm still kind of getting used to OBS here. I wish you could see users in chat and the chat window separately, but, huh. Okay, well, let me just ping Discord and Twitter, or X. Do my rainbow-themed pinging. If anyone's there, say hi. I didn't mean for that to sound like I'm talking to my child. Okay, good morning, Treble154. First time chat, give us a follow, please. I think maybe if I go to Twitch, I can see who's actually here. Of course, the never-ending Twitch window, where you stream itself infinitely. First, from Bookmark 6. Bookmark 6, Treble154 beat you. Sorry, you are second. Hello, hello. Okay, I don't need to be on that. First time chat from Gaia Metris. Hello. Thank you for making it. Give us a follow, please. First time chat from Nocticula. Hello, thank you. The Damon Zero. Hey, everybody. I've got a lot of first time chats. Okay. I hope everybody gives us a follow here. Okay, I want to make this actually a regular thing. Sundays at 5:30 PST. So maybe like bi-weekly, I'm not sure. Because if it's like every week, I'll be like, yep, we're doing the same exact thing we did last week. So no big updates. But it is also just fun to hang out with y'all, take your questions, talk about game design in general, even if it has nothing to do with Symphony of War 2. Do the tier lists as usual. So, Bookmark 6. I literally just finished the first act of Pillars of Eternity 1 when I got this Discord notification. Right on, right on. Hello, Easy Machiavelli. Alright, so... Well, it's only a couple minutes after here. Let me actually ping X here. Twitter. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Dancing Dragon Games. There we go. Okay, and I'm going to post Symphony of War 2 hangout link indie games, indie dev, dev stream, and whatever. Okay, here we go. Boom. Have not posted on Twitter for a very long time. I tend not to maintain Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff very well. So, all right. Well, so one thing I want to... Hey, first time chat from Mr. X Boggy. I'm ready to sell myself for this game. First time chat from Ghoul Varian, second movement of the symphony. How's the wife inventory looking for SoW2? Says Marfram. Hello, Marfram. Very good, I will say, Marfram. If you have visited the teaser channel of our Discord, let's see here. We've got blah, blah, blah. We've got our comic paints. I'll just go back in order here. Actually, let me move the camera. There. That's better. Yeah, so we got protagonist, sister. That's not really much of a spoiler. We got Cat Girl. We got Steam listing for the game soon. Good question. I want to get like trailers and cover art and all that stuff. That's a little bit of a ways off right now. So I want to have that be a really good first impression. First time chat, Pancake Overlord, or greetings. Been around for a while in the Discord. This is the first time I catch the stream. Thank you for being here. Give us a follow, please. We have our cat girl. We have a little bit of a screenshot of... This is very much a mock-up here. Just a little bit of mapping. And it's also in the smaller resolution. We're working on a graphics overhaul into a larger resolution. But this is kind of a crunched... It'll look better than this, in other words. It'll look more, But this is, a little bit of an overhaul in the graphics themselves. We have this guy from the Olympics, a new Tier 4 heavy infantry class, some mapping, the backgrounds, the animated backgrounds for the cutscenes here. First time chat from Carl Max, 1823. Carl Max, don't redistribute my wealth, please. It has been in development, I would say, pretty much since the DLC. We wrapped up the DLC for Symphony of War 1. We took a short break, and then I've been working on the script for this game for a long time, years, probably 4 years at this point, so before the first game even launched. KB48, when will there be gameplay stream in the next Symphony of War game? Just curious. Gameplay stream? Whew, I don't know. it's going to be a bit here. Blaze1711 _ says, hello, Blaze. Was there ever a Tier 4? So yeah, it's not technically, it's not really in the same way that... Oh, by the way, is my audio coming through okay? Is it on one side or is it on both sides? Is it... Oh, great. Okay. I think that was just Twitch Studios app was like defaulting to just one side. Anyway, there was one Tier 4 class in the first game that was the Dragon Riders, just because you had to do that many upgrades to get to it, but it's not really a Tier 4 class in respect to how Tier 4 applies to the second game. Tier 4 in the second game is a true, deeper specialization or deeper increase in versatility, more functionality, more stats, all that stuff. And also it's going to require more, it's going to be more costly. It's going to have... an upgrade item, which will... I think what we're going to probably do is it's going to be consumable, but then once you upgrade to that Tier 4 class with that unit, it'll consume the item for that unit, but then if you switch away from the Tier 4 class and then go back to it, then you don't have to consume the item again. It just becomes part of that unit's core. First time chat from a Servant Rider. I would have laughed my ass off if he brought a president and started streaming that. Yeah, I wish we had that much progress at this point. 2 devs, it just takes a bit. A lot of we've been progressing in a lot of different ways constantly. It's just, there will be a flash of lightning at some point, maybe next year, when it all just comes together, and it's like, oh, whoa, okay, this is Symphony of War 2, right? So... the Damon says, so you're somehow doing even more graphical and software improvements. At this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if you partially rewrite the game engine. Some of it would require a rewrite, how we're interpreting tile graphics, and we're going to have to do some new UI work, especially since the resolution is a lot bigger. It's going to be in the 1280 by 720p resolution to be, obviously a lot more compatible with modern... devices, as the first game wasn't really. Even as good as it looks on Steam Deck, though. Steam Deck looks great. Gaiametris, what changes, if any, are you looking to make to gameplay? That's a good question. Let's save that for a bit. Because we're not... So there's two parts of it. We don't want to change the secret sauce. We understand that sometimes sequels will make things a little bit too complicated, too much feature creep, and it takes away the soul. But then also, if it's the same exact thing, then it's not different enough to justify. So there's a delicate balance to strike there. But we'll answer that question in a much more expanded way in a little bit. The audio is being transmitted directly into my brain. Okay, good. Well, remember my words. Marfram says, I remember now DLC, T-Force 2, Necromancer, and Dark State. Yeah, kinda, sorta, yeah. I would say that's closer to how they're going to function in the second game. Server Writer says, I understand. It wouldn't be just funny if he released that footage. Wait for someone to... Yeah. I'm not a big fan of demos, honestly. Like from both a developer and a player perspective, because I think that unless it's like a demo as the game is getting released, and that's like the actual finished version of the game as a demo, then that as a player that's kind of cool. But like other than that, like sometimes I get sour on a game because of a demo that like it didn't deserve it, and then I just don't come back to it because of the demo. Like I was already curious about some game, and then like I played the demo and was like, oh well. But then, and I know in my brain that this is like an early alpha version, but then like I'm already satisfied. It's weird. Like I'm already satisfied that I got to check out this game, and then now I'm just done with it forever. It's so stupid. It's like the low attention span brain of the modern age, but it's just this how it goes. It's still in Super RPG. Yeah, it's barely RPG Maker anymore. Mr. Boggy on the side note, is this being recorded? I gotta work at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, we're recording it. I still have to figure out how to do the VODs on OBS Studio. This is not my forte, but I'll get good at it eventually. But it is being recorded. Carl Max says, outside of the 2 devs, how many people have put work into SoW2? Voice actors, editors. Excellent question. So we do have the 2 main devs, myself and Mithrin, of course, and we're like the project managers, business owners, all that stuff, the game designers. And then when it comes to, but his specialty is programming. Mine is in music first of all, but it kind of expanded into writing. And so that's kind of how that goes. So we don't have like an art specialist on our very small team. So most of our contractees are artists. We've got pixel artists, digital artists. We've expanded our team of contractors this time around. We're getting a little bit more sophisticated. We have a team that's working on some animated movies for us, which is pretty cool. And we also have a concept artist, a character artist who's rendering the concepts, and then we have like a background artist, and we have a pixel artist, and another pixel artist. So there's like maybe 6 or 7 artists that are like our regular contractees that we're working with. So they're really awesome. It's hard to build relationships with people, but that's why we value those people greatly. So treat them well. Voice actors, yes, that's a bit of a story. We are voicing all of the mandatory cutscenes in this game. There is like a 5% chance that I'll just give up because holy shit, is this a hard thing to do. Y'all are probably going to say like, oh man, this game is great, but the voice acting sucks. And it's not the voice actor's fault. It's because I've never directed voice actors before. And they're just like, as talented as they are, they literally, when I like ask them for their opinion, they like, I am just a paid monkey. You tell me what to say and I say it. I'm like, okay, fine. I guess it's all on me then. And so, as the director of all this voice acting, this is a first-time thing for me, and I love it so far. I love that it gives so much character to these cutscenes, because we're not doing choreographed cutscenes anymore. We're doing animated background, animated characters, voice acting. So it's a little bit more like Fire Emblem in that respect. And we have so far 8 or 9 voice actors, and we're only about halfway done with the cast. So. And I will say that it's much harder to find good acting than a good voice. There are a lot of people with a great voice, but then when they read the lines, it's like, never mind. Thank you for your time, right? So it's very hard to find a good actor who like it strikes the balance of like overacting, underacting, cringe, not like too hardcore, and then you have to get them to line up with each other. Like if one actor, because they don't talk to each other, I talk with this actor, then I talk with this actor, and we don't have the resources to have this whole like big casting couch at the same time, right? So they don't know what the other actors are doing, so I have to like take the mood and the acting style and the volume of like of course it helps if I get it done and then I like put it in the game and then show that part to the other actors like, oh okay, that's what we're doing, right? But in this early stages it's just like some because one guy can be like way overacting, right? And then they just like really subtle, like he's reading a narrative, like he's reading an audiobook or something, right? So, or reading an instruction manual, right? So, this is hard to do. This directing voice acting. I don't know if I would do it again. It's crazy. The payoff, right? The payoff, it's really cool. It's just like you can enjoy a game without it. So, anyway, first time chat from Rick said. I wish I came prepared with questions, but I'm happy to learn what I can. You don't have to have questions. You can just hang out. Happy to have you here. Give us a follow. Servant Writer says, oh, like how recent games go over the demo save, transfers over to full. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want it as a player, obviously, yeah, you want to have the idea that you're like not wasting your time. Like, and that's kind of really old school where you would have a game like on a CD and then it's already there and then you just like play it, you have a save file, and you go on and buy the CD key and then it unlocks the rest of the play. I kind of like that as a player, you know? It's basically like you're skipping a step where you would otherwise just refund a game on Steam if you don't like the first little bit of it. But the demo, I don't like the timed ones, but I like the unlimited time ones, but like, limited content one is totally fair, right? Just to give it like a what is this game and then unlock the rest of it with the full purchase, so... I like demos that have different levels than what are in the game. Let's see, Rex said, I personally like trying before buying. Yeah, me too, yeah. You never know what you'll enjoy, especially for a new IP. Totally. I think for Symphony of War 2, I think it's fair, like you know what you're getting. You're just getting bigger and better and a little bit different, basically. Damon Zero, the first title I played, though, fine. And on that one, I believe it's safe to assume transfer carryover saves from the first one, yeah. I'm looking forward to new visuals. You can make mixing troops and types in the squad. I just know in the spirit of FE and Linguist reference, I enjoy the game regardless. Oh yeah, that's the bread and butter of this game, man. KB49, practice makes perfect. First time, first directors. Good lord, man. Yeah. Hey, there's a familiar name. The Deacon Erudite. Much harder to find a good actor than a voice. Yes, bro. Bro, ain't that topical. Yes. Having a good voice, mostly genetics, having a good actor, lots of training. Yeah, and I think it's training and it's like a combination of training and talent. Like, just, some people just have it, man. And, and I've gone through, I've actually finalized 8 voice actors that have gone into the game at this point, but I've probably talked to like 35 of them, from voices.com or from this Discord that I'm in. Or just from connections from previous voice actors. We do auditions and it's competitive. Like, my standards are pretty stringent when it comes to this stuff. One of our voice actors is a very popular YouTuber. I don't want to say it. I kind of want that to be a surprise, but she's completely amazing. The only thing is, like, you have a big cast of characters in the game, right? And you find like one awesome voice actor who is just talented, really good at acting, available, has a fair price, and like vibes with you. Like, actually, you enjoy. And I really love working with this person. It's a really enjoyable time. Just like get the cordials out of the way, and then do the work. And then she's really fair with me and all that stuff. So. Somebody that kind of has like a friend vibe with you is really nice. But then the problem comes, that person only has one physical voice. And this particular actor and a lot of other actors have a lot of integrity. They're like, well, I don't want to do accents and I don't want to get way out of my comfort zone because it sounds like I'm, some people are really good at that where they can sound like a different character. But a lot of them are like, I have my lane that I stay in, and then like I really would prefer you have somebody else do this other character instead of me doing the voice for a bazillion different characters. It's completely valid and correct. I ended up recording too many female characters with this one voice actress, and then like I would put that character talking to the other character, both voiced by her, and then even though she's exceptionally talented at this, it still sounded like it was person talking to the same person, right? So, and it was like, "Hi, how you doing?" Pretty good. Hey, it's like it's me talking to me, right? So, but that's like the one hang up when you find that. And there's another male voice actor who's similarly really amazing. He's just super versatile and he nails his niche, right? It's just that like, because he plays like lower, deeper voiced kind of men in their prime, like kind of like Zelos from the first game, alpha male type, warrior type male characters. And then I was like, you're such a good, we have such a good vibe, and you're such a good actor. I want to see if you can do like the younger male characters that are maybe like 19, 20, or they're not big warrior types. And then he would really try, and his delivery was fine. It's just his physical instrument. It's like, it's way too barrel chested, right? So I'm like, man, this isn't working. And he totally understands that. Like, he can't play like an anime male protagonist. Like, hey guys, right? So yeah, it's hard. So now I'm like, still in the process. I'm kind of pausing on the voice acting right now, but I'm in the process of going through these different communities and finding I still don't have the protagonist's voice actor found yet. So that's going to be a challenge. There's two protagonists really. There's a male and a female protagonist. The female protagonist is done and absolutely phenomenal. Nailed it. Perfectly casted. The male protagonist, I haven't even found that person yet. So it's a bit of a challenge. So you guys better appreciate the frickin' voice acting. It's been a journey and a half, man. Oh, okay, I'll try not to yap about that much more. First name chat from Tesla Crashed. Ray, squad building. Will we be able to save squad loadouts? Man, that's a great idea. I think we have that on our list of things, of quality of life things we'd like to do. In terms of, do I think that's a great idea? Oh, yes. That's an awesome idea. To just, pump out a bunch of templates if that's all you want to do. Yes. Viability is always a question mark with these things, but yeah, I think it's a great idea. KB49 says, meow, Milozilla, how's it going? Dang, 8? How many in total are you planning? For voice actors, we're probably going to need maybe 15 actors, just to have enough physical voices to cover the characters in a way that's not, when something is really bad, it kind of breaks the immersion. The music is bad, the voicing is bad. It's like, ugh, I liked this game, but not anymore because this one voice actor was bad, right? So we're trying to make sure that also voices sound unique. Lambert! Nice to see you here. As long as you don't rehire that Raskuja voice person. Ha ha ha, very funny. Hey, me, you're fired. There you go. First time chat from Kolomak. Can we volunteer to be voice actors? If you're sincere, the best way is to just find me on Discord and DM me. Look for Phil, developer, on our Discord, and just send me a DM. Or I guess if you don't want to do DMs, you can open up a help ticket where normally you would submit bug reports and just ping me and say hey, here, I'm a voice actor, here's my portfolio, I'm interested in yada yada yada. Yeah, sure. So go for it. Servant writer Iron Mouse confirmed. I don't understand, but that would be awesome if I could have Iron Mouse as a guest voice person. I don't know if I have any characters that voice fits, though. KB49 says, meow, again. The Divian and Zero says, understandable, they don't want to do something when they know they won't do as good a job. Yeah, they have a lot of integrity. Even though there's AI coming out and there's a strike happening, they know the score with really small-time indie developers like me, and they're really fair, right? Will you and Mithrin do any voice acting? Carl Max says, yeah, I did Raskuja for the first game. I'm actually doing a lot more for the second game. I'm doing one of the main characters, in addition to the cat guy character from this next game. Mithrin is also doing one character as well, and it fits really well. So neither me or Mithrin are professionally trained voice actors, so it's a pretty limited. We want to leave that to the paid professionals with the experience. Blaze1711 says, with voice actors, are all the dialogues of the voice characters voiced, or there's only voices during cutscenes or such? Good question. It's just the cutscenes that you have to watch. And I think probably, and this is actually a question I have for everybody here. By the way, who is everybody here? How many people do we have in here? Wow, that's a lot of people. Cool. Question for y'all. I am actually running into a situation where it is proving very, very onerous and burdensome to find voice acting for the little NPC stuff, like yes sir, like a guard saying that, or like the door is open, Captain, just little stuff like that. I want to just have that not be voiced, but in this same cutscene as when the characters are being voiced. So you hear like a main character is talking, voiced, and then you hear brrr of the text being typed out by the very, very minor NPC who has like one role. Like I could either do that, or I could have like one guy do all of the guards and try and sound different. But then it's like I have to find how many voice actors do I have to find for like one little bitty line. And then I refuse to go the route of AI generating voices. I think that sounds stupid. So, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, or if that matters, or if it would break the immersion. When is the Skyborn body pillow coming out? Well, I would like to open up more merch. Honestly, like not because, mostly just because I want to have the merch. Like I ended up. Hold on a second. I actually ended up with... Hold on, let me... I was able to get my hands on the prototype for the Diana and Lindley plushies. So, they're the only ones that exist in the world. Right? So, not enough people... hopped onto that campaign, and I think that kind of makes sense because, like, the people that saw again were like, wow, waifu simulator, and so like they're probably going to want something a little bit more sophisticated. Like, I'm talking like the PVC figurines. How awesome would that be, dude? Even if I like lost money on the deal or just broke even on the deal, I would love to have realistic PVC figurines of the characters in the game. This is so awesome, man. I would love to do that. So, I'm very open to doing stuff like that for this one. I still don't know, like, financially, viability is a big question. I like to have like a minimum amount that they can do as a part of a campaign, or else they don't make them. So, body pillow, I don't know about that one. Okay, where were we? I just thought I studied first name chat. Under the Missile Joe. I have no questions. I was just looking forward to this whenever it releases. Well, thank you. Give us a follow. Be in our Discord. Hang out. You don't have to talk. Just be a lurker. That's fine too. Hope you all stick around. You'll know when things happen, like when the Steam page is up, when beta testing is going on. Trailer videos. You'll know as long as you stay in our Discord. Come to our streams, please. So. Okay. Oh, the Deacon Air, Iron Man. You weren't talking about the YouTuber Iron Mouse. Okay. Okay. Before that, hoping to see more artwork on Symphony of War 2 soon. Yeah, there's a ton of it in the teaser channel here. I don't want to give too much of it away though. Like, we've already shown some pretty cool stuff. Like, you should have an idea of like, here's like this city in a cave. It's got the animated lights, and it's so awesome. This actor is an absolute legend. I love this actor. The ship with the storm going on in the background. We got some new classes being shown here. We got some music, some portraits, more portraits. Yeah, you guys are wondering about the waifu collection? Okay. All right, there you go. More. Yep, there you go. This character, this is probably like going to be people's favorite character. He's awesome. Got some cutscene stuff going on. Yeah, just check out the teaser channel. I don't want to give too much away, but... will there be a voice actor for the narrator? Yes, we have actually finished the narration voice acting. He's really good. He sounds like a the movie trailer guy. In a world where... Milo says, that sounds like a neat role for your Patreon. What does? Yeah, can you tell me what you meant there, Milo? Sean B for narration, yes. Thank God on the no AI. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Marfram says, just give Admiral PM a chicken sandwich to voice everything basically the same. I didn't realize Advil was like a servant in my basement that I just like, like, Master, I have finished the beta testing. Right? I just throw a little bit of crumbs in there occasionally so he doesn't starve. Yeah, great idea. The Demon Zero. If the guard are nondescript generic ones, the same person doing them all wouldn't really be an issue. Okay, yeah, sure. For random voices, you could have a bunch of people make submissions in Discord and pick out the good ones. Okay, sure. Can't guard be one voice if they aren't talking to each other? That works. Sure, yeah, okay. Blaze, big paragraph here. Right, that makes sense to not have every single thing voiced. I've been playing Trails to Daybreak and I observed some NPCs were voiced during conversations with talking to other NPCs who were not voiced. It wasn't really consistent in which lines were voiced and felt jarring as long as it's conversations or lines being fully voiced and not voiced at all. Blah, blah, blah. Gotcha. Oh my god, need the Diana plushie. Minor one or two liners I think you'd be fine to reuse. Uh-oh, it skipped ahead. Reuse... Where was I? One voice actor with minor variations because most people won't really pay close attention. Okay, yeah, fair. One-on-one scale Diana figurine. yeah, like a 9-foot tall PVC figurine that would probably weigh like 1,000 pounds. Rick said, consistency is key. Yes, of course. Wolverine, speaking of figures, one can just get the body stocks like TBA League and such and then make costumes from scratch. Diana would have multiple versions. Waifu makes any game good. Need a 4K image of that city in the cave as a wallpaper? Absolutely. Yeah. I think that, yeah, that city in the cave looks fucking great. Am I allowed to say that on Twitch? Okay. The Damon Zero, there's over 1,500 people on the Discord server alone. Even if 1/10 of them were to submit, it would be too many. So, oh no, it's okay. There's actually like 7,000 or 8,000 accounts on Discord. I don't know how many. I haven't pruned in a really, really long time, and I'm just kind of worried if I do prune that I'm going to kick out people that have just been lurking, and they just want to like get the updates whenever the major ones come. I don't want to like kick those people out of the Discord just because that's what they're doing. I'm not sure. I'm not a Discord expert if that's what happens. So I've just been like kind of. I've of course been like banning the bots counts and the DM spammers and all that stuff, but mostly just keeping the soldier role, just like the one you automatically get. Just keep it there, even if it's a dead account, because I have no idea if it really is a dead account. So. Small ones of .com could be reward for your patron. Okay. Yeah, sure. But the thing about that is, what if the patrons aren't good voice actors and I don't pick any of them? Like I don't want to make anyone feel bad. I gotcha. KB49, what's the progress at? Oh, I have no idea, man. That is hard to say. There are some categories that are like 95%, and there are some categories that are 0%. I can tell you that working on this is like my life's blood, and nobody would be able to take this away from me for all the money in the world. I live for this, right? So, like, day in and day out, like, I live and breathe and sleep making a Symphony of War 2. So, it never gets old, especially when I get to hop in here and hang out with you guys. But then again, I do have formal project management training, and I do understand the, the business world and how, you can be like the starving artist for only so much time. You have to eventually finish something, right? So, absolutely. So why not list all the one-liners and have people send you? Okay, somewhere in this. I think I like the idea of just having one voice actor do small variations of like generic villagers or guards and stuff like that. It doesn't have to sound that different, right? As long as they're not talking to each other in the same scene. Yeah, I like that idea. Why not list all the Lurker here? Ghoul variant somewhere in those submissions will be a Wario voice. You're right away, sir. Or maybe a Hank Hill. That boy ain't right. First time chat from Castella. Hey there, first time coming to the stream. I love the game. That's a familiar name. Castella. First time, give us a follow. The Damon Zero. Will the game take place in an entirely different section of the in-universe world compared to the first? Good question. No, it is in Tundra. It is actually a rare case where, I've completely retconned the geography, but just the geography. The countries and all the history is the same. It's weird. Like that's just how I am. I like to make maps. And I had been kind of that old crusty map. I just said I'm so done with it. I want to make a new one. And also it serves a story better, like where you go and when. Like I like how the map we have now. Let me just like briefly put it on here. Can you see the? I don't even know if you can. Oh no, it's not showing. It's not showing desktop. Well, anyway. Well, maybe I can bring it up in the browser. Open with. No, never mind. Oh, wait a minute. I'll do this. Boom. No, never mind. Wait, no. I'll do this. Boom. There you go. Okay, now you can see it. Yeah, so it's a little bit more like Tamriel, because the first game had like separate continents, and then it was a little bit more like a Final Fantasy world map where you kind of had like islands and continent-based world design, whereas this is just one big old rectangular chunk of continent that is a lot more like Tamriel. And actually, if you mirror it, interestingly enough, I do have a island volcano here in the northwest, which is very much like Vardenfell in Tamriel. I understand. That was not... Okay, don't even fucking say it. Oh, that's just Vardenfell. It's like, look, I've played the Elder Scrolls games so much that like maybe that just became part of my geography fabric of my brain. Like maybe that's just how it worked. But it works very well for that volcano to be right there. Just trust me, right? It's not meant to be Vardenfell, right? But the continent being one big thing is meant to kind of draw from how Tamriel does have that real continuity of storytelling, where you have like Skyrim there and Morrowind there and Cyrodiil there and blah 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 blah. It's all easy to connect together because it's physically connected together, right? So, okay, where am I? Yeah, unless you're Star Citizen, right? Yeah, if you're, oh yeah. Yeah, that's... What a grift that is, man. The whole, I'm going to make a game. I totally am, guys. Send me money for the alpha and send me money for the beta, guys. Just keep sending money to our Kickstarter and our Patreon. Just keep sending money. And then, like, we're just going to be in early access. We're just going to be in beta until the heat death of the universe. I'm sorry, guys. I guess that's how it goes. Oopsie. Like, how scummy... Like, how do people put up with that these days? It's ridiculous. Like, how do people not see through that? But, whatever. No, we are in the business of finishing a game. Finishing, and then you get a game that's a full release, and then, if you want more, you get an expansion pack. Whoa! Anyway. Okay. Monetize. Yeah, you beat me to it. I didn't even read your next line, Decan, and you beat me to it. You said, and then you just monetize the 16-year development. Exactly. Yeah, we just need a little bit. We need more. We need $500,000 more dollars because now we're doing Alpha 2 5 years before, or 5 years after Alpha 1. Like, oopsie. Get out your wallets, people. Like, eventually, it's just like, you're up to something. I don't know. I'm a little slow on the uptake, but I'm getting a little sus here, right? Anyway. Gotta sneak in the Wilhelm scream in a random... Is the Wilhelm scream... Is it royalty free? Because if it is, yeah, we'll get the Wilhelm scream in there somewhere. I don't know if that'd be too immersion breaking, though, so... the Damon says, gotta make more Gaiden chapters and release them as DLC, and we'll see how long this is starving. We'll see how long you'll be starving artist. Yeah, that's. I think that we kind of shot ourselves in the foot with the first game because we didn't set up the main campaign to transition to like more extended content. We're not going to do that same mistake again. We're going to set up the main campaign so that it can be either tacked on onto the side or to the further into it, and have it actually be balanced and make sense story wise. So yeah, and I definitely wanted to like explore different side, the story is like ridiculously huge, and it can't all be told in one 30-chapter campaign. And so I do want to have the ability to go those side directions and those forward directions, like what would happen, without necessarily making another whole new Symphony of War 3 game with another graphics overhaul and all that stuff. Just making more extension content at the end of the current chapter would be a really fun thing to do for me and hopefully you. We're looking forward to Symphony of War 2. Me too. Very excited for the game. Me too. Blaze, I'm kind of curious of the overall population distribution, species race-wise, of Tanra. Okay. Well, well, I guess that's the great part of this is, like, your people come to you. Like, this is something I would wonder about, too. Here, let's go back to the browser. No. Here. Boom. Okay. Well, so this is Viridia Province. This is the Central Province. It would be kind of like your Cyrodiil, and then this is Armitage, the Imperial capital, and so if you can, it's almost easy to tell. Like you can obviously tell, like this is a kind of a. If you want to make an Earth analog, it's a little bit like a Western Europe or like an American Midwest biome, a very fertile. Like the northern plains of France or the southern plains of England, very, green and hospitable. And then as you get further out, it's basically like as you get further out from the center, with the exception of over here, you get less and less hospitable, especially as you get into the upper extremes, with Grothnor up here, the Skyborn Realm up here, then just like this endless jungle over there, really treacherous waters this way. Generally speaking, the middle is safe. This sea is pretty safe. And so Skyborn live up here, right, for the most part. And then the human realm is pretty expansive because the humans, there's lots of different like nationalities of human in Tanra. You've got blah 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 blah. You've got Viridians. You've got Highlanders that live in the Embor area. You've got Ebengarders, which is a new country. You have Sayunari, which is, of course, from the first game. And you have a new country of humans that is Varna down here. So lots of different human nationalities. And then you've got, of course, Rasputin's people, the Sonarans from Sonara. And then you've got Demirians from Demiria. And then humans live over here in the east as well. So you've got humans, you've got Skyborn, you've Demirians and Sonarans as the four like sapient races of Tanra, and then you've got a lot of other things happening, of course, like undead and giants and dragons and all that stuff. So, does that answer your question? Are there other continents or just Tanra? Well, so if you're looking at Earth's geography, like. This definitely falls, where you have like the Arctic Circle, then you have the tundra, which can largely be seen in the vast, vast wastelands of Canada and Russia, where it's just like these huge forests of permafrost and evergreen trees where hardly anyone lives. And then below that you have more hospitable regions like the West Asian steppes and the, North American plains and all that stuff. You kind of get that more here, and then you get to like I said, the more like Western European temperate climates, and then you get down, the further south you get, now we have the hot climates here. So you can almost, like, if this was a Earth analog, you could say that this is the actual, like, North Pole, but then this is the equator. The bottom of this map is the equator. So you can assume that perhaps there's an entire southern hemisphere that's not pictured here, if it is indeed an Earth analog, and this planet has polar ice caps in both the north and the south, and then it has an equator that's hot. So... and a lot of people would say that this entire continent just kind of looks like North America, and yeah, it does. It definitely does. Like, this is Alaska, this is California, this is, super shrunken version of this is like South America, but very shrunken version. Mexico's here, the United States is in the middle, Canada's up here, and this is the Hudson Bay. It's literally shaped like Hudson Bay, right? And all these, and then Alaska, it's a kind of shaped like Alaska up there. And this part in the east is really not part of Earth's North America at all. But it's almost like if you were to take Europe and switch it and then just like attach it on. Because this is almost up here. This is like Greenland or like Siberia. This is like this endless frozen wasteland, right? So, And then this could be like East Asia, where there's another very hospitable area, like in the northern plains of China, right? Kind of another cradle of civilization there, but it's far to the east, right? I wholeheartedly believe that anyone who makes fantasy maps draws from Earth in some way. And if they don't, it kind of looks weird. Like, I actually kind of think Middle Earth looks weird, just because you have, like, completely vertical, 90-degree angle mountains and stuff like that. I like to kind of make things look like... so if you look at this island here, is anyone Japanese? Anyone Japanese or familiar with Japan's geography? Try to guess what island in Japan this is supposed to look a little bit like. And actually, I think, except for the long tail here in the west part of it, this part is very reminiscent of a certain Japanese island. And actually, so are the little islands down here below it. I didn't mean to do it that way. It's just because my mind has memorized the geography of this island. It's Kyushu. It's Kyushu Island in Japan. And if you look at like a picture of Kyushu and flip it, it very much... No, actually, no, don't even flip it. It looks like... So the bottom here would be where Kitakyushu would be on the top left, and then like Nagasaki here in the west, and then down would be... oh, God, what's the city in the fucking southern part of Kyushu? I don't even remember. What am I doing with my life? I forgot geography. Anyway, like Shokoku would be here, and then Honshu is up, so if you can kind of see that. Is this subject boring? Anyway, let me move on. Okay. Elongated North America. Yes, you got that right. The Daemons is a big-ass map, which is a jump scare, but sheer wonder instead of fright. Rick says, I've never understood how fantasy series came up with maps besides using the real world as a reference. It's a skill I find very impressive. Kudos. Thank you very much. Trouble says, yeah, what they're up to is a long-term cash grab. Maybe, yeah. I'd love to believe that, I don't want to say their names, but certain, MMOs would actually come to fruition, but holy moly, it smells funny to me. Player map editor for endless content. I would love to have that. This kind of thing would require a rebuild in a different engine, and then we would also love that. So, as I say every time, that's... yes, that'd be awesome. So, we just got to figure out how. The Damon Zero says, with that big of a world, can we expect some branching choices regarding where certain parts take place? That's a good question. Branching choices is something that was not really planned in this game, but there are a lot of side quests, and they're side quests that build on each other. There's side quests that start and it's just that one, and then there's side quests that start and then there's 3 in a series, and then they unlock new side quests that go this way. So, in the first game we had 5 game chapters that were just singular by themselves, and this one there's like, okay, we want to explore this character or this character's group's story further with an entire series of side quests. So there's a lot more of that happening. I think there's 12 or 13 side quests already, and they're like side chapters. So there's side quests too. We're gonna have those too, but those are like go clear the rats from the cellar type side quests. But this is more like the origin story of this entire group of characters, kind of side chapter, right? So there's a lot more to it. And there's a lot more sandbox content we have planned as well. So it'll certainly feel like you'll not run out of things to do, really. So even when you hit the last chapter, right? So where do the cat boys come from? The southwest part of that continent. It's an island called Sonara. Southern Hemisphere, yep. Goldrain, combat fantasy maps drawing inspiration for Earth counterparts. A great example is Strange Real World of the Ace Combat series. Oh, yeah. That's like literally Earth. Like they copied and pasted like the Great Lakes and put them in this continent, and some of it is completely made up, but a lot of it is literally just like they just traced Earth's actual borders and slammed it in there and then added onto it. So, but it is similar to that. Like it's the idea that people that are familiar with the geography of Earth, that's like who we are. It's like it feels so familiar to us, and so when we see fantasy maps use the same patterns, the way that ocean trenches and mountains and volcanoes interact with each other to create land masses, and the way that beaches and non-beach coastal areas would look on a map. or where certain rainfall and ocean current patterns would create forests here and deserts here, right? Or where it would be hot, where it would be cold, and what resulting temperate tundra, desert, jungle climate would that actually create in that area. Those things are all familiar to us as people who were products of the Earth's environment, right? So, it wasn't boring. I never really thought that much about how maps are designed, so thanks for the insight. Do your choices in side quests stack up and give you access to any new perks choices based on the type? Like Evil Paragon or region-wise choices? Oh... so we're not really doing moral choices. I don't actually like that stuff very much. I feel like not a lot of games, if not no games, have pulled that off in a way that really sold it to me, the whole good and evil choices. Unless it was like, okay, I guess if you were going to do like Warcraft 2 Orcs and Humans, and you could choose to be the Orcs, which were like the evil in that version of the game, right? They turned good guys are neutral in the next iteration, but in Warcraft 2 they were like under the spell of demons and stuff. So you could choose to be them and just slaughter all of the humans in the world, or you could choose to be the humans. All right, so it's kind of like that, where it's like a completely compartmentalized experience, where that makes more sense to me. But like as a player, the whole like morality choices, like I feel like it's been like you can either pet the cat or you can like squish it with a sledgehammer. Like that's not a very rewarding experience for me to like go down these two different paths, right? So, blah blah blah. This talk of side quests just made my eyes shine. Can't wait to get it out. We can't wait to get it done, man. The Deacon, if only entire battle maps could be condensed down to hex code or something, they could be traded on Discord as custom challenges. Yeah, man. I wish I could. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Know how all that works, by the way. Terrain mapping also lets you playfully mess with things if you have fantasy elements such as magic and gods messing with the world and the area. Absolutely. Yeah, well, hang out with us. Let us know how you... I'm sure Mithrin knows what you're talking about. Okay, Servant Rider. BG3 was one of the best for me on Good and Evil choices. Yeah, I actually haven't played that yet. I'm totally sold on it, mostly because I'm simping like crazy for Karlach. I don't know how you pronounce that name, but I'm going to play it just at some point in my life right here. So, Blaze says, okay, but if you like do more and more side quests in Embor, maybe access something neat from Embor. Oh, okay. Yeah. So finishing a side quest branch will unlock like a factional bonus like that, yeah. Or a character bonus. Sometimes it's about that character, so it's like specifically a character. Maybe they get a class change or a new item of some kind, right? So, Chill Saber, how do you do? Says, you forgot shoot it with the cannon. Yeah, shoot the cat with the cannon. Yeah, so it's like that's like the super evil choice, right? Then you just lose certain points, and then like other characters react to you like how dare you, right? So it's like, I don't know. That's just not really my kind of gameplay experience, right? Goldbrain says, the Deacon Erudite, it may not be far-fetched. You can draw from how Advanced Wars versus mode made it so players can post maps or to play with. Mass Effect Trilogy, Paragon, and Renegade are both technically the good guy. Okay. Gods, I feel that I buy games I'll play this eventually mindset. Oh yeah, isn't that how it goes these days? Well, I'm all caught up on chat here. We've gone through the teasers. Quick update. I'm right now still working on finalizing text and finding voice actors. I'm also working on getting, continuing to get all of the art coming in. And then as the art comes in, it doesn't just come in ready to go. It comes in very raw. I have to do a lot of editing, resizing, and clipping and all that Frankensteining of the art to make it actually get into the game. So that's my whole thing. And then we're also working on the fundamental kind of graphics overhaul, resolution increase, and all the things we have to do for that. Hopefully there's a breakthrough on that at some point, and then we can start showing off, how the maps will actually look in the release version, which will be awesome. I'm very excited about higher resolution. We can fit a lot more information on the screen without just cramming it in there. Like, we can have a cleaner interface that has multiple pages or multiple sections, fewer clicks to get here and there, that sort of thing. So the wonders of 720p, right? plus 720p slots perfectly into everyone's 1440 monitor these days, and whatever else comes along. And it's the almost the native resolution of the Steam Deck, and close enough to the Switch, if we ever get on Switch. So, okay. We've been at it for about 50 minutes here. You have some more Q&A time. You guys want to shoot some Q&A at me here? Let's see who's here. Got a lot of folks here. That's awesome. If you haven't given us a follow, please do. If I finally get my schedule together, I'd like to do this more often on Sundays. D. Valroth, I see you in here. I've seen you in here since the stream started, and you haven't said a single thing. So you better be very, very sick or in jail. What's going on, man? Damon says, as an inspiring game dev, you mentioned something about how a passion project turns into something finished to ship out. Without getting into the technical stuff, anything you can say about that? Maybe some things you wish you'd learned sooner. Yeah, so I actually think there's a lot of value in the formal project management certification and technical training process. There's a lot of it that's kind of bullshit. Like, I don't believe in Scrum very much, even though I'm a certified Scrum Master. I could teach a Scrum class. Not for video game development. It's really good for like construction projects or something like that. But the one thing that really taught me a lot about how you can manage the various elements of a project, and that's what a game is it's a project, because you've got features, you've got stakeholders, you've got budgets, and you've got timelines, is the PMP certification. I got a PMP ACP Agile certification. So what that means is basically I took a course, and then you take a test, and then you get the Agile certification after you get the PMP, and then you have to maintain it with some continuing education hours, CEUs hours, right? And it's a hard test, but it's very, very valuable knowledge, I think. Things like academically what scope creep is and what stakeholders are, but like getting the PMP really viscerally drove home, because the test forces you to think about real examples, and they force you to answer the questions as though you completely digested the information. It's not an easy test where you can just memorize this and then the answer is this, right? It's more interpret the knowledge that you've learned from these materials and the classes that you took, and answer questions that were throwing real life situations at you. And they throw all sorts of different scenarios at you, like construction projects and software development, business development, or founding a company, or building a house, or anything that's a project, right? And so, not that it's had a super direct impact on my work, but it's definitely given a good high altitude perspective on how it should go project wise. You have a minimum deliverable, and then you have iterations, and then you have scope, right? And then you have meetings to determine scope, and then you put the raw scope in a certain place, and then you can digest it. So it's a little bit more like a waterfall chart or a Kanban chart, if you're familiar with those terms, right? So long answer to that, but I think that the PMP was a really helpful thing for me, just in running a business and making a video game project. You don't have to have the certification. I'm never going to use it. It's on my resume, but I'm never going to hopefully I don't have to use a job resume ever again, right? Because this is my job now forever. So, but I definitely do not regret taking those classes and getting that certification. So, now that's kind of more technical. I would say, you specifically asked not for technical stuff. Sorry. I would say anything wish you had known you'd learned sooner. Yeah, this is going to be the 6th game I will have put on Steam, either as a solo dev or partnered up with Mithrin. And I would say that once I just kind of followed the vision, and had a good vision of hey, you know what? People haven't had Ogre Battle for a while. And Fire Emblem is all about their gacha game now, and so they're like not making mainline entries. And then the new mainline entry came out, and it was way different. It was Three Houses, which is a good game, but then like it's way different. And then the newest mainline entry came out, Engaged, and people like the gameplay but hate the story. So I was kind of like seeing an opportunity there to, fall into that gap of what's not being served. And I think I had ignored those instincts when I was younger. And a lot of that was just because my life wasn't... My life was a freaking mess up until about like 10 years ago. Once I turned 30, things started to fall into place. But in my 20s were a complete waste. Just saying, I completely wasted my prime, so... but no, I learned a lot. Learning is not a waste. I'm as usual being a smartass here, but... trusting your vision and trusting your instincts is extremely important, and that comes with a lot of challenges because people will challenge you on, maybe it should be this way, or maybe you should hire a writer, right, instead of just get better at it yourself. Things like that, or maybe you should do it this different way, and it can be demoralizing to face those headwinds of doubt, because people aren't necessarily doubting you. They're just kind of throwing out different ideas, or maybe they're just talking out their own ideas of how they would do it. But it still almost feels like it's demoralizing. So it's really important to almost put an aspirational note next to your bed, your idea you had at the time. There's a reason you came up with that idea, and it's a good idea, right? And the various things like negative reviews, bad comments, somebody breaks up with you, life tragedies happen, will make you doubt yourself, and then you'll be like, oh man, I got to change everything. But then you forget that there was at the time, what was I thinking? But then you have to answer that question literally. What were you thinking? And then if you really think about it, usually they're like, oh yeah, actually I was completely of sound mind when I came up with that idea, and it's a great idea. I'm going to stick to it. It's almost it's like that. It's almost the same dogged persistence that is unpleasant most of the time, honestly. It is, it's right now, streaming this and hanging out with everybody here is very pleasant. Love it, right? But a lot of the times it's unpleasant to have to doggedly persist and defend your vision. You run into barriers, I have voice actors who tell me to go fuck myself because I refuse their audition. I have, artists who overcharge me because they're doing it based on the time, and then well, yeah, of course I did it for 8 hours, and then how could I possibly verify that? Things that just the annoyances of game development, and there are many, right? This is not an easy job, and it's certainly not a job you can do a couple hours a day. You have to live and breathe it to make it work, right? But again, I go back to that vision, and of course we've had a success with Symphony of War 1, but I still have to remember that there is that vision, that original idea, and when I was in the shower and it came to me, or I was driving and it just came to me in a bolt of lightning, I wasn't an idiot in that moment. It was a good moment of clarity and creativity. Don't count yourself short when that happens, right? Okay, well that was way too long of an answer. I don't remember if this talked about how many ship classes are there. So, yeah, question about ship classes. Right now there's actually only 4. But what we're doing is we're offering a ton of customization you can do with your ships. It's basically like chassis. So you have a small it's the Corvette, the frigate, the battleship, and the dreadnought. These are just 4 different chassis, and they're going to have either a different amount of slots or a different quality of slots that you can put various equipment in: guns, armor, sails, and then components, things like improved boarding assaults, improved accuracy, blah 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 blah. So ships are like squads in themselves, in that they have they are a multi-part thing that moves around. So. Good question. Ships is not very developed yet, but we're pretty excited about it. It'll be cool. Ships always suck in games, but we're going to make it not suck. I'm excited to do that. Carl Max says, any cut content from that first game that will find its way into the second? Yes. It's on the list, yes. Promise? No. It's on the list, yes. Things like a endless tower climb, not an endless tower climb, but like a roguelike mode. Of course, a lot of stuff was cut in the first game, but we'd like to do that for the second game, and it might get cut again. Who knows? I hope not. Deacon Erudite says, and speaking of scope creep, see Star Citizen. Oh yes. First time chat from Walter Cation. Unicorn Overlord was like Overbattle, but the story was very meh. I still haven't played that game either, but I don't have a PlayStation, so what am I gonna do? But the audio and visual aspect of it is freaking jaw dropping, and I am jealous, and I want to. I don't think we're gonna get to that level, but I mean it's Atlas, so they're gonna make beautiful games, and then they hired Hiroshi Sakimoto to write the soundtrack. I'm pretty sure. So like, how are you supposed to top that, right? So. By the way, I did speak with Hiroshi Sakimoto myself, and he's too busy. But if I have a spare $300,000 to $400,000 in my pocket, we can hire him to do the soundtrack instead of me. But I think rather I would instead write it myself. So, but it's cool that I got to talk directly with him, And I gave him samples of Symphony of War. I was like, "Oh yeah, great, I like it. let's get you some samples of what I could do, and here's what it'll cost you." Oh my god. No thanks. We do not have that kind of budget. Let's see. Blaze says, damn, that doesn't sound good to someone who's 23. Oh, you mean how I wasted my 20s? Well, you don't have to waste your 20s. Go for it. The Damon Zero. Well, it does take pressure off from having to have your life together by then. Yeah. That's something I wish... Oh, boy. If you want to ask me what I wish I'd known earlier, is that most people are full of shit. Is the people who have their life together and all these really happy pictures that you see on Facebook all the time is a facade. Of course, those moments are happy, and those are great moments, but like it kind of gives off the impression that people on Facebook are just like... They get up in the morning and they just like pop a champagne and like a big party troupe comes into their bedroom and like dancers and like confetti and celebrate. I'm alive, I'm awake. Dun, 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 dun. My whole day is party time and I have a million friends in this room and a million friends in the other room. And I just got married again, It's like, and I just had my 15th children here. So, and it's just like, no, nobody has their life together. Everyone's just like treading water. Really, I wish I'd known that earlier. So it's easy to get this sense that like everyone is so cool, but like no, not really. I mean, there are a lot of people who are really cool, and then you can glean those cool things from them and be happy for other people's successes, obviously, because that gives you energy. It makes you learn things, but like to just like reduce yourself compared to other people in general is a worthless exercise. Nobody has their shit figured out. So. With the success of 70 War and Overcome, do you think Overbattle Army System will make a resurgence? It already has. Symphony of War 1 did it. Unicorn Overlord did it. And didn't sort of Convalaria, although I don't count that because it's a gacha game, but kind of... No, actually no, that wasn't that. It was a Final Fantasy Tactics style. Yeah, maybe. It still hasn't been done that much. It's mostly just SoW and UO. And then SoW2, and then if UO does it again, right? So... First time chat from Alternate VFAX. Familiar name from Discord. Happy to see you here on Twitch. Give us a follow, please. Will there be light infantry type firearm units? Light infantry firearm units, yes. There is one tier 4 light infantry that has a firearm. Yes. Actually, yeah. And then there's also a light cavalry that has a firearm. But you already know that, sir, because I showed you a picture of it. Right. So... Servant Rider. Ooh, I love a roguelike mode. Yeah, I love roguelikes. The answer certainly helps. Blaze says, would you say the story this time around will carry the same heavy, dark at times theme? Yes, way more so. Symphony of War 1 is very tame. This game will get really dark at times. It still kind of has like a lighthearted vibe, like especially with the cast of characters. They have a really good, cool, funny vibe. But the things that happen in this story are a lot more dark and a lot more heavy than in the first game. So it gets into some real serious subject matters. So don't want to spoil it, though. Deacon Erudite sadly got a bail, but very enjoyable joining on our stream, hearing more about the part 2. Good vibes, hope it's and also good call out if anyone likes it, everything good. If they don't, they're feeling the goodwill. Somebody else like the rich parents. Oh, well, yes, I mean, whatever. I try not to get like that, but yeah, maybe. Or they're just crushing in life at that moment. That's fine. Busting their ass. Oh yeah, for sure. You have to bust your ass in anything ever to do something worthwhile for sure. See ya, Deacon. Thanks. We'll get to the tier list here. So we'll have more to talk about next week. One of the things I personally loved about Ogre Battle was finding secret items that transformed characters into secret classes. Yes, those are awesome. Well, Symphony of War 2 have secret items. Excuse me, not secret, but they're going to be rare, and they might be secret to you. Like if you choose not to see guides and stuff, because like 5 seconds after the game comes out, there's going to be nothing will secret because people will put a wiki on it and all the secrets are there, right? So, but no, there's gonna be a lot of tier 4 upgrades that you can do, and all of those will require a consumable item. So there will be items that will feel rare enough and precious enough. That's like, yes, I got the undead ring. I can make a lich now. That's an Ogre Battle example, but you get the idea. So. Cleve Wizard says, will Necromancy be making a return? I love Skeleton Boys. Absolutely. And in fact, it will be with the original release and not the DLC. It'll be right away. You kind of have to work your way up to get to Necromancy, but we're not getting rid of it. I love Necromancy too. So I really love the idea of like a squad that doesn't have the damage potential of a human squad, right? Of a living squad, but like has this kind of like writhing mass of weirdness, this like endless, relentless writhing mass that's just coming at you slowly and inevitably. And that's kind of what we're going with the undead squads. So 2 were-tigers, 2 liches, and a princess, game over. Yeah. Also, I actually assume that the Xanathus story hints at the Morgoth XP bigger bad Xanathus. Spoilers. Okay, the Daemon Zero, considering what some of the first game's events are and the massive atmosphere of the second act, calling it tame is a scary proposition. Yeah, there's some rights abuses that happen in the second act of the first game that are pretty heavy, I would say. But it goes much further than that in the second game. So, and it depends. It depends on like what your personal experience is with like game stories, how hard it hits you or it doesn't hit you. People will probably say that it's not as heavy as in the first game, but I personally think, and the purpose of the writing this time around was to be to visit more hard-hitting subjects, but also have more levity. There's the cast of characters has a group within it that's funny. They're fun. I mean, they're not like funny, haha, but they're like fun. Kind of like you don't like bust laughing when you watch the Guardians of the Galaxy. But it is a cute cast, right? It's a fun cast to watch. It's just a good vibe, and they kind of riff on each other and stuff like that. So it's a little bit like that. Actually, I did laugh when Drax did the "Hello, stupid morons." what did he say to the kids in the latest one? He says, "Hello, dumb idiots." That was, excuse me. I think that was actually Batista just riffing. I think that was improvised, right? Yeah, and same with the "Why is Gamora?" I guess it's mostly just Batista's improvising. He must be a really funny dude. I gotta look that up if he says "Hello, dumb idiots," if that was actually in the script. So anyway, cool. Let's save some more questions for next week or 2 weeks from now, whenever I do this again. And as usual with all of these dev streams, we end with the tier list. And today's tier list will be Star Trek captains. And I actually have the first officers, doctors, engineers, and bridge crew here if we have time and want to do that. So we're going to go, and if you want to leave now, fine. We did all sorts of tier lists, like Disney Princess Deathmatch and like Halloween Candy. They're either in VODs or they're posted somewhere in the stream, in the Discords. I should just have like them pinned or something. I think some of them are pinned, actually. Anyway, Star Trek captains. Here we go. A lot of these are... Thanks, Blaze. All right, guys, let's have a little fun here. Okay, and help me out here. I actually have only watched original Star Trek, Next Generation, Voyager, and Deep Space Nine. I haven't seen any of the new stuff since then, so it's actually been a while. So, okay, who is this? I'm gonna put don't know. All right. Don't know, don't know, don't know, don't know. Okay, we have Janeway. Shows Enterprise. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Janeway, I'm gonna put. Yeah, I've seen him in other shows, but it's not immaculate. So Janeway. Okay, so I like Janeway, good character. I would say that some of the writing with her was a little bit inconsistent. I should say a lot of bit inconsistent, especially when it comes to like adherence to or non-adherence to the Prime Directive, especially with the execution of Tuvix. She would sometimes make me break immersion and would be like, wait, what? Like, that's not something Janeway would do. So it's almost like the writers, like they got a new set of writers. So I'm going to put Janeway in A. It's just, I think I like Voyager. I like the character a lot. She's actually from my home state of Iowa. The Kate Mulgrew is. And I think she is a good officer in general. Has a good like authority. And it has a special, challenge of having two different crews on one ship. But yeah, the writing the morality got a little weird there. Jellicoe's going in S tier. This guy is the man. I really appreciate the fact that he did not care about hurting anyone's feelings, and he was in a serious situation where he had to deal with Cardassians and he had to rescue Captain Picard. Since we're on the writing topic, one downside in the first game is that towards the end, certain developments are not really explained or made clear. Oh wait, bring it to the next one. Jellicoe, just didn't care. He said, "I'm gonna do what needs to be done," and people didn't like him for it, and he just still didn't care, and he ended up getting the job done. And the way that he handled Riker is being a little shit during that entire episode. He handled Riker very well. Basically, just like, I don't care that you're Riker. You are the first officer, and this is how it works. So, love it. Kirk is the original. I actually would put him. I'm not a fan of the original series that much, so I'm gonna put him there just because he's the original captain. Don't know. Picard is the GOAT. Picard is the GOAT captain of. He is Star Trek. Picard defines Star Trek. You cannot have Star Trek without him. He is an absolute paragon of the Star Trek, the Federation. He's a paragon of the Federation and the morality clauses and the mission of the Federation and the Prime Directive, and just the fact that he is almost like a philosopher king running a ship. I love that. I don't like him in the movies very much. Like, they play with him a little bit too much. And like has. It's okay that he's not a funny guy. He's like the wise king. I love Picard. Don't know. Okay, Captain Riker from the show. I'm gonna put him in C, and here's why. Yeah, Engage, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm putting Captain Riker in C, at the lowest tier. I've only seen one clip of Captain Riker, and that's when he's talking to some Romulans, and he says, "And I'm gonna kick your treacherous Tal Shiar ass." It's like, it's terrible. That was awful. Nobody's gonna agree with me on that, but I hate that line. Like, did Will Riker, like, all of a sudden he went from a guy that's in his prime to now he's an older guy? Did he just become way less mature and he just stopped acting like a proper bridge officer? That's no way for him to act, and that's no way that Picard would act. Picard is more tactful and more proper and polite, even to his enemies, because it's just more effective. If you see Picard squaring off with Romulans and Klingons' enemies, basically, he's very composed. He keeps it together. He doesn't get emotional. He doesn't use childish words like that, right? Your treacherous Tal Shiar ass. And I think they were putting in the alliteration there for the TTT, treacherous Tal. Nope. And I don't even think Will Riker from TNG would have done that either. He's better behaved than that, This is a military vessel with a military command structure, and it's an idealized society where everyone's super professional and polite. I refuse to believe in 20 years it would change that much. So, I don't know. He would occasionally have, but that's like a one-liner. That's like It's like that's like Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the Iceman saying "Ice to see you." It's just awful. Okay, don't know, don't know, don't know. Cisco obviously is okay. I had trouble with this one. Cisco is like almost tied with Picard for the GOAT captain, but Cisco's writing is excellent. His acting is off the charts good. Like Avery Jones is an absolute freaking champion with this mode or this guy. I think that there was some awkward writing with him being the emissary, but the way that Cisco handled the various different weird factions on the station and the Dominion War and all of the weird things that happened, like how the whole Dominion War, he had to handle Quark, he had to handle Garrick, he had to handle the Cardassians and all of like the Bajorans. And this dude is the man. He is just like the chief administrator of this extremely important strong point in the Federation borderlands. And he just nailed it, man. Cisco is the GOAT. He's like tied with... He's like an even better character than Picard, but Picard is like more emblematic of the Federation, so I put him in the very top spot. Captain Spock? I don't know. And then Captain Sulu? I guess I don't know. I don't remember in what role they were captains, so I'm just gonna do that. Anyway, moving right along, the first officer tier list. Let's just be fast here. So, Spock is the original. He's got to be here. Will Riker. I would put him. Actually, no. I'm gonna do this because unpopular opinion. I am not the biggest fan of Spock or Vulcans. I'll explain. I put Riker here. Riker is my first experience with the first officer. I do really appreciate Riker's character of being... I think that my favorite thing about Riker is that the actor kind of went off script. All right, see you, Lambert. Thanks for hanging out. The actor went off script and like... he was supposed to be the stolid like military guy based on the script, but then like the actor is such a goofball that he kind of added that goofballness to the character, and then they went along with it, and that became Will Riker that we all know, right? So there's a little bit of a fun, and of course the ladies' man aspect, which was in the script, but then he like turned that into a little bit more of a, not a womanizer as much as like a charming, funny guy, right? So I think the GOAT first officer of all time is Kira Nerys. This is one of my favorite characters in Deep Space Nine. When I first watched this show as a child, I wasn't super familiar with the weird politics that's happening and the story of Bajor, the story of Cardassian occupation, but like that story is so perfectly told through just the character of Commander Kira that and then she has this like this really perfect personality where like okay, it's a badass female first officer, but I didn't like get the idea that that was what they were trying to make. It was just like a badass first officer who had a very complex personality. Like she was goofy and funny, and then she was really cute and charming, like with her relationship with Odo. And you could tell that the actress that plays her, Nana Visitor, is like an absolute sweetheart through this character. But then at the same time, she had the victim of the occupation and the anti-Cardassian sentiment and the Dominion War and everything. This character had just so many different dimensions, and the actor destroyed it, right? Love Nana Visitor. My favorite first officer. Chakotay, he's cool. He didn't get as much like star writing as some other characters that came along. Like the Doctor got a lot of writing, and of course Janeway got a lot, Paris got a lot, Kim got a lot, 7 of 9 later on. I think Chakotay kind of faded into the background as the series went on, but he was cool. I like that he represented, like he was the captain of the Maquis group, right? Don't know. Okay, moving on. All right, the Doctor tier list. And half of everyone just left, but that's okay. We'll put this on a VOD. We're going to go Bashir. He's pretty cool. I like... that's a tough one. Bashir is... He got so much more than just Doctor in this series. Like, he was like a genetically engineered superhuman, and like... He was in combat roles, and I mean, so did a couple of the other Doctors too. But like, I appreciated his like ultra scientific approach to everything. Crusher was kind of cool, but I kind of feel like there was something about her personality that was like a little bit of a cold blanket on the rest of the cast. But I really liked her character, especially as like Wesley's mom. I think that's where she shined the most was she was in the mother role. I liked that. Don't know, the Doctor from Deep Space Nine, just like, again, he got tons. I don't know if I put him above Bashir, but he got a ton of really good writing and action sequences, and then he became a real person with that remote holographic projector. So good character. Don't know. Pulaski is my favorite Doctor. I just gotta say, I loved how just she came off like a really really good Doctor that you would meet in real life. Just a no nonsense, kind of a rough around the edges. Like she wasn't like rude or impolite, but she was just a little rough around the edges and a little bit less stolid. Kind of like a take a salt tablet and walk it off type of Doctor. Real practical, kind of down to earth. I really loved that character. More than Crusher, I would say. Don't know. He's the McCoy was the original. Damn it, I'm a Doctor, not a doctor, right? But I don't really know him that much. Carl Urban as young McCoy, I don't care. And then don't know. Okay. Engineers tier list. And apparently I eat too many potato chips or nacho chips because I'm getting advertisements for it. Don't know. Oh, this is engineers. Okay. Yeah, I didn't really like B'Elanna Torres. No, not a fan of this character. I think they were going with the half Klingon emotional thing, but I didn't really buy it. It didn't convince me of the whole character. And then like she had this weird relationship with Paris, and I don't know. Miles O'Brien is an S tier character in every possible respect of the start. Miles O'Brien is actually like a transcendent godlike figure in the Star Trek universe. He's everywhere and he's everything, and he just rules. Geordi LaForge, love him. I would say that if it weren't for Miles O'Brien, Geordi would be my GOAT of all time because he's such an engineer and nerd guy. All these tropes about Star Trek where like we need to reverse the blah 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 and the harmonics and the frequency and the energy and the blah blah blah, all that stuff comes from LaForge because he's the meme guy, and he's the Reading Rainbow guy too. Don't know. Who's that guy? Don't know. All right. Okay. Oh, never mind. Oh, this is just the bridge crew that didn't get captured yet. Wesley is Z tier. He deserves to be vaporized by Romulans. Worf is awesome. We love him. Broccoli is the GOAT. We love. Of course, Miles O'Brien is like S+ tier. I like him. Not a fan of 7 of 9. Where is she? Oh, Data, of course. We gotta have Data. There's too many. Garrick is an absolute man. I don't like that guy. Wasn't a fan of her either. Don't like him. I liked Quark, though. He was pretty cool. Where is he? Deanna Troi. I like Deanna. She's pretty cool. I don't know about S tier. Paris. I didn't really buy that character very much. Odo was pretty cool. A lot of these characters are already on other tier lists, so... Quark's not on here? Oh, this guy. I hate that guy. Lore, he's pretty cool. Quark's not on here. How did they not have Quark? But they have Quark's brother and nephew. Anyway. Alright, if you're still here, thanks for joining us. I'll get a VOD up on YouTube and link it in the Discord. And I will ping everybody again until we get a lot more people on the ping Twitch roll, which you can do in our Discord. And okay, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful night.